you guys are here. But without further ado, I want to introduce Stan here on this side of me.
Hey,
Uh,
what's up?
hey, I'm so glad you're here. As you know, most of the people watching this will be on the restream, so we can do all the editing we want. And what I'm gonna do right now, in my true fashion, is I'm gonna play this intro. I love this intro. I created this intro myself, and oh my god, I just love it. So here we go. We will be right back. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, and we're back. I love that.
Oh
So
yeah, me too.
listen. It is wonderful to be back. I love doing this. Okay, so I can't hear my music. Okay, I got it. Maybe I need to up my volume. Okay, yeah, because if my volume's low, then I won't see it. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay, so all right. So tonight the topic is the best man. Now, the reason why, and Stan, I think you might know why I chose like to really hone in on the best man. And granted, I now a little bit of truth. I didn't watch all of the middle one and not all of the
I
last.
can't do the middle one. The middle
Yeah,
one's too sad
you
for
know,
me.
yeah, it's like I don't know. I was trying, and I, but
Yeah,
the
the last holiday you gotta see it one time and it's good. It stays in your memory for the rest of your life.
I'm just saying, like it was some good scenes, but I think the point still stays because the story still goes on. But I chose it because it was a nice example of relationship issues that are pretty serious and they're not so tropish in terms of just dating and the general problems people go through. Because a lot of times
Yes.
we're in friend circles and we have these issues that come up that we can't really mitigate, and then other ones that we can. And I just thought each and every couple was a prime example of, let's say, more adult matters in terms of relationships. And there was this one scene in there. I actually want to play it first, and this is
Which is
just
the
my
first we talking about the first movie, right?
yeah, the first one. The first one.
Okay.
After a while, I get confused. But after the first one, so we are going to be diving into the Best Man trilogy, I guess, with our notes now because of YouTube and all of the striking they do. Okay, on demonetizing and stuff. If you are watching this on the restream and you want to donate to this channel because they probably will strike me for having all this good time watching footage. Now, mind you, they still struck me last time on the copyright, even though I had my copyright thing up it was totally clear. They still said it, and I'm thinking it's because of time. But I said, you know what? If that's the case, I'm just gonna have my fun anyway, and we'll figure it out. But we will be diving into our critique of the different relationships from the film The Best Man, starring Tate Diggs and the infamous Nia Long, as well as Terrence Howard, and who else? It
Morris
was
Chestnut,
Morris
Selena
Chestnut, all of them. So
and Selena Lakem, Regina King.
oh yes, I forgot her name. I did forget her name. I was looking at her face and I was like, I know your name. But yeah, we're gonna be critiquing some of that. And listen, I have a lot of smoke for your man Chestnut, okay? And his name fits it. Okay, Chestnut. Put that nuts in the chest. Because I got more smoke for Mr. Chestnut than a little bit. After I watched it again, right? I was like, how did I miss this? This man is on 1,000. Like, so
It wasn't just only him.
I know,
The,
but he was the worst. He was the worst.
no, what's his name was the worst? Quentin.
You talking about Terrence?
Yeah, Quentin. Yeah,
He
that's all he did.
Yeah, okay. Well, the
That's
reason why
all he did.
because they didn't know he did, that is it. But it's
Like he just rolled out of bed. Like he's an equal. Like yeah, we'll get to him because all the stereotypes about light skinned men, that was him.
that yes, it was. Now, granted, I did try to find some clips from all of them, and I didn't have enough time. However, I did find some just so we can kind of reminisce on those moments back because the first one came out in 1999. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
yes, yes,
That is.
20, what's this? 23. This. Oh my God.
It's almost like 30 years. It's
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, 25 like years ago. And I feel like when that movie came out, I was such an adult. And now I'm looking 25 years later. I'm like, oh my God, I need to settle down. I'm getting old. Like I'm getting so old because in my mind, I don't feel my age. I feel like I'm like maybe mid-20s and stuff. So I don't feel like I'm done.
You know the sad part?
What?
Like my kid would say like the dark ages, which is called the 90s.
Dark ages?
Yeah, the 1900s. She said, "Oh my God, the dark ages," and I'm just looking at her like, if it wasn't for the 90s, you guys wouldn't have the stuff you have today.
Wait a minute, so what does she think about the 70s and the 60s?
Moses. You know, 10-year-olds, you can't, they straight up think like the world starts because of them. You know, that's what they think. It's like, well, the world started because I'm here, so.
You know what? That is probably true because when my son said something slick like that to me when a song came on that I listened to when I was a kid and it came out in the 90s and I was like jamming and I was like, yeah, this came out when I was about your age and he was 12 at the time, so this was like 93, 94, and he was like, Mom, like that's so old, like why are you playing that? And I was like, it's still a classic. What do you mean? And he was like, it's just old music. I don't want to listen to old music. And I was like, old music.
A lot of our stuff get remixed into their stuff now, so that's the crazy part.
Yes, that is crazy. They will remix our stuff and then tell us our stuff they don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, but our stuff is a remix of another remix.
From the 80s. That's what it's from the 80s.
Yeah, and then you find out some stuff in the 80s came from the 70s. You're like, what? Or the 60s. The 80s was big on the 50s and 60s music, right? But we didn't know that. We didn't know nothing about no mixing or.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Oh my God. See, you know what? Let me see this because I have Oh no, let me move it over.
But I'll say this about The Best Men.
Mm-hmm.
There were, okay, I'm gonna count them. I think there were 5 people in that whole movie that had high body counts.
Yeah. Well,
there
okay.
were 5 people.
Let's show this one clip because this is just my excuse to see some music, right? So we can get a full idea of who we talk about. Hold on, let me see. Let me present. Yeah, let me share screen. Let me see. I want to Best Man. Okay. So I'm gonna okay. So I want to share this.
Epidemic Sound provides you with restriction-free music and sound effects that you can use across all of.
Okay, I didn't know about like. Okay, let me skip this ad because it ain't me. All right, let's go. I think this came from the last one, right?
This is from the second one, Holiday.
Okay, Holiday. Okay. Okay. I love this scene. Now, Morris did look good in this scene. I ain't even gonna lie, but I hate his ass right now.
Look, they just need to go ahead and just impersonate New Edition because after seeing what Bobby Brown is going through, I'm like, why y'all doing that to Bobby right now? This is all bad. Bobby's like, he can't even do a two-step. He's just like, you know what? Whatever.
They doing so much better. Like really. Bad loving. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain?
I don't know if people notice, right? The seating of all the characters, like those two, right? There's a reason, right? And I like because they were like not the official girlfriend group. They came into it.
Yeah. Look at this light skinned dude right
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Watch this. They really did this thing good. Oh my god, like they really did that scene some justice. Like I felt like they did, well, I'm not gonna say they did just as good as New Edition because they wasn't really singing that. But if they were singing that, I was like, okay. Like I was really up there cheering for him, like in the movies, like cheering because I told you I was on my couch and I was watching and I forgot about this scene. And when it came on, I was like, what? Gonna go mother. If they doing the New Edition, I forgot about that. I was like, well, when it came out, I think I was like 18, 19 years old, maybe. I forgot about that scene. And that was one of my favorite scenes from that whole trilogy they got going on there. But as you can see, all right, all of these are the main actors right here. Yeah, I didn't see any other supporting actors, but what I want to do right is let me pull up. Let me pull the. You know what?
You want to go through the names because I got it for you.
Yeah, I was gonna pull up the photograph so we could see. Let me see. That's so everybody could be aware of who we talking about. Yeah. Okay. So let me pull that up just so while we talking, and I can to it in a ghetto fashion, like just point to it by cursor, like a crazy person.
My favorite one of all of them is always Terrence Howard's Quentin, and the only reason why, because Quentin comes across as like the one of those characters out of Shakespeare that knows everybody's something.
Yeah.
Like he's just the Cheshire Cat of the group.
Yeah, that's a good word for him. The Cheshire Cat. Hold on,
because that's what he did in the first movie. It was pretty much everybody looked down on him. Yeah. It was like I hate to say this, but he's like what's what I'm looking for? The most mileage light-skinned male friend that you had in college that we all know, probably in high school. The most mileage dude, like you knew, like that's what he's there for. Like nobody really took him serious. He's the community. He's the community bicycle. Yeah. Everybody get a ride.
Yeah. You can say it. But you know what? Okay, so let's start with Mr. Terrence. And you know what? I have a hard time remembering their names because I know their actual names. So he's.
I got it for you. It's Quentin. Yes.
Quentin. They call him Q for short. Okay. So hold on. Wait a minute. All right. So with Quentin, right? Here's the thing that I noticed about Quentin. Throughout all of the series, Quentin stayed single. Am I correct?
No. Quentin, because now Quentin and I think it's Shelby.
Yeah, I know
and Shelby.
They hooked up.
They hooked up, but what people didn't know in the second one, right? Shelby had a daughter, right? So we didn't know like who's the father was, right? Because we thought that what's his name was the father because they were supposed to get married. Was it Julian? But Julian's not the father. It turns out to be Quentin is the father. She kept it a secret from Quentin, and that's in the season 3. It comes out that he always had a daughter, but he didn't know. And they got married. And they hook up a little bit more on the second movie. The first movie, they just like woke up in bed angry. But mind you, these are two that one wore what's the bridal thing?
I know what you're talking about. The little thing that go around the the skirt.
The thighs, right? And then she caught the flower, and then he put her mouth. He put her foot in his mouth and said, "Say you like it. Say you like it," right? But then, because of that, we just like, oh, they slept together at the end of the movie. You understand, like a lot of times in Black movies, they should do that stuff at the end, but you never knew what came out of it, right? Yeah. It was just like, okay, that's it. And then you saw it again in the second movie, but then it turns out like that little girl from the second movie was always his daughter, but she never told him.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But you know what? As far as he's concerned, right? What I noticed from him is that the type of man that he was, she was the type of woman that actually deserved a man like that. Now, I don't think that the directors and the writers actually wanted us to pick up on that, but just based on the energy from their personality types from throughout everything, right? The type of woman she is in terms of how she treated Julian. She is the prototype of woman that should be with a man like Quentin, because Quentin, he's a womanizer. He's the bicycle of the group and community peen. She is for the street. Okay, she could pick
the
up
rich streets.
The
rich streets.
She is the dope streets. And at the same time, she thinks too much of herself while she's really not anything to really be proud of. And so these are the types of women, honestly, that men like him, they actually deserve. Like, they don't deserve better women. She is his counterpart. And I think that even though it may have been funny when they hooked up and kind of, bad when you found out what happened later on as far as like the daughter is concerned, but that's as much as we hate to admit it, that sometimes when men and women become basically, problem people in the community, essentially these people did run into each other and they deserve each other. Like they hook up. Because
I like how you call them problem. I'm like, I thought that community property of the community.
Community property is a problem, and we need to and make sure that they stay together, because if you let them off that street, something's gonna happen. And with them two, they actually deserve each other. And I know a lot of guys kind of feel like, well, it's supposed to be men that are out here playing the field like that should end up with a good woman. But it's like, at some point,
no, she is good for him. No, literally, if you watch the third, yeah, it is. He realized like they got married, and he almost had a heart attack, and he didn't want to. He got sick and tired of being taken care of. He wanted to live his life. He didn't like all the responsibilities. He's missed his old life. And then for her, she realized, because I think she'd been married before, because she was on reality shows, because she was being married to all these men and getting all these divorces. Yeah. And for her, she realized that she loved to be married, and she loved being married to him. And then for him to realize that he loved having a family to go home to. But that took like self-accusation for both of them. But especially for him, because for her, she knew she was gonna get married. That was her only thing. Like, she was like, I'm getting married. Julian dumped her, then she moved on to somebody a little bit better and richer, and that's what she bragged about. Okay, after that, like, move on to somebody else and somebody else. And then she ended up with Quentin. So for her, she knew like her beauty is a reflection of marriage. It's kind of crazy, but she's that type of girl.
Well, you know what, too? Okay. So now that takes us into her relationship with Julian. Now, I couldn't understand why, and Julian isn't up here, but I couldn't understand why her and Julian hooked up. But then after I watched the movie, I had understood that his toxicity and what he lacked fit her, meaning he didn't have confidence like how a man should have. And because of that, he attracted a woman that was overly bossy, and she didn't care about his feelings. With that's all the only thing he cared about. And it was like, I was like, why would she pick a guy like that? And then I realized that, she picked him because he fit her. Like, unlike Terrence, right? Terrence is very to the point or whatever. However, both of them fit her personality type because both of them resonate, in my opinion, with her toxicity in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Both of them. Even though they're very different, you can see how his sexuality has made him who he is, which matches her in terms of that, all his body count versus her body count versus his end result versus her end result match. Her inner problem with her personality matched with Julian's inner personality problem. So
there's a codependent relationship with those two.
Yes.
It was very codependent.
Very codependent. And I mean, it was so codependent that I could understand why he did that dumb stuff he did at the stripper party. Now, I want to play the video from the stripper party just so we
Wait, who did what dumb stuff?
I'm talking Julian. You remember what he did at the stripper party?
Now, here's a question. Now, was Julian who did the dumb stuff?
Yes.
Or was it Quentin? Because Quentin knew the type of woman to get Julian's attention. Quentin knew. That's what I'm saying. Quentin was like freaking straight up Shakespeare.
He was playing the devil. I give you that.
Because Candy came in. Candy came in the last person, and Candy went into hiding.
She did.
And then Quentin like perfectly like had he had them sitting down purposely.
She did.
He knew, like Quentin was like, I'm gonna do something, because he knew his boys very well, even though they thought of him as just being, again, I hate to say this, light-skinned men was known to be not to be taken serious. Quentin was there's two type of light-skinned men, right? There's a pretty boy light-skinned men, and then there's the one that, they kind of look like a cartoon, or they go into conflict with each other, right? Never see two light-skinned men together because it's going to be like Highlander. They don't like it. One got to get all the attention. Now, This is like the 90s, the 80s, right? So, like, Quentin was that type that he always gets the girls, but he never keeps the girls. He just going through women left and right. And nobody takes that type of person serious.
Right. So...
Even though Lance was doing it, and Lance didn't even take his friendship with Quentin that serious because
he did. And I give you that, he did not. And I did notice that, but that was like a small thing that I noticed in terms of the dynamic between friends.
Yes,
I noticed that, and I think every friend dynamic has that guy in it that serves as that counterbalance, that devil counterbalance sort of thing. But I want to share the scene from let me preface this. The reason I'm sharing this scene is because Julian did something very telling in this scene at the very end because of his codependency with this woman. And I just want to see if you catch it just like I caught it. So hold on, let me share my little screen here. Let me see. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna play this. All right, let me use it down. And we're gonna play it now.
They all just be peace. You make some freshly sound.
Is this the lucky man? The one that called out?
Maybe there's. Yo, that's him.
Wake up, Bert.
I saw these drugstore now. You like? Yeah. We done post up big steps. Come here, girl.
So I just want to say, if you notice Julian getting drunk off that dark liquor because he is depressed right now, I just want to put that in there. Okay, all right.
It's really nice to have somebody I want you guys to meet. That is my best man, Mr. Harper Stewart. Right here. There you go, Harvey. Right there.
Oh my God, here he go with that book vest. Like, I can't deal with him right now.
Oh, yeah, baby.
They're not getting along.
Fandango, that's me. And Sweet Cheeks about to bring you something luscious and sugary. So allow me to introduce the flavor we call candy.
Okay, so I don't mean to interrupt all the time because I hate when people do that to me. However, I just need you guys, I need y'all to see that this is her pimp, right? This is her pimp, right?
Are we gonna call it the pimp or management?
Okay, this is her management, right? So here's the thing. Julian knows that this is her management because later on in the movie, this is what pissed me off because he knows this right here. But go ahead. Okay, come on.
Watch out now, way. Hey, how many minutes did they get to the thing? If they brother got a shirt pulled out his pants like that.
Pause.
Wait, what happened?
Go back a couple of seconds to Quentin with the cigar.
Wait, okay, hold on. Quit with the cigar. Right here?
Right there.
So you're saying
You cannot blame Julian. He knew what he was doing. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at it. Don't think so. Look at that. That is a Cheshire cat. Like, my plan is in motion.
So he was trying to break Julian and Shelby up then, basically.
If we go back a couple of scenes, he was doing that.
Low key, basically. Yeah.
Big time.
I agree with you like that. Okay.
So you look at that, like where that cigarette comes in, like he knew, like, that's what I'm saying. Quentin is that character that that whole movie, it was like he was a narrator. Like he just knew.
Yeah.
He just knew.
Yeah. Okay. I gave you that because this right here, I don't think too many people caught the cigarette.
When he's smoking it, he's like, got you.
And then he gonna turn out with it. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me finish. Hold on.
Go get him, kid. Don't be scared, Mark.
Oh God!
You yourself?
Shelby, who?
Go get him, girl.
Like, I can't with them.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Okay, see, this man is a whole mess right here.
He's a mastermind. He is the mastermind.
He is. Now now this is the part that caught me because, and this is why I watched the first one so intensely, because at that point when he asked her, "Do you love me?" Right? I was like, that would have threw me off. If I was the stripper, I would have been thrown off by that, first of all. And
no.
Second of all, she answered him based on how a stripper answers people who ask her those questions. So I felt like he actually fell in love with her off of that.
What did she say? She said, yes, Candy loves you.
Yeah.
Not Candace.
Right.
Candy. She sells you on the fantasy. That's what she told him at the, when he chased after her, right?
Yeah.
She sold him on the fantasy, right? Keep in mind, Quentin.
Uh-huh.
I want to call him one of them Shakespearean names, Marquise or Marsupial, somebody like that. Pan, the god of like mischiefs, the imp.
Right.
He knew. So I want to say this first, right? It was like we said counterbalance, right? Yeah. There was Julian and Quentin, and then there was Lance and Harper. Yeah. So you understand, that woman, when she danced, her Candy only goal was to go directly to who?
To the one, him.
To Julian. Mm-hmm. It wasn't to go to Lance, because the party was for Lance.
Right.
That one girl was to go to Julian. The only person who will know your exact type is your best friend. Yeah. And he knew what type that his best friend actually fantasized about. And because mind you, these four guys were in college.
Yeah, they were college friends. They were.
And you can tell the dynamic of the relationship, because when you see Harper was the guy that always got Lance leftovers. That's what I saw. Yeah. Harper got Lance leftovers, and Lance was okay as long as Lance gave you the leftovers, but not for you to overstep your boundaries and take from Lance.
And that's what happened with them. But hold on, before we get to them now, okay? When it comes to Julian, what the part that caught me right was that she didn't lie to him. She was a stripper. She had management. She worked for money. And she told him this is a fantasy-based business. And so when she started to get to know him as Candace, he fell in love with not only Candy, but Candace. So he loved every part of her, even the stripper part of her.
But keep in mind also, there was something else about Candace too. Candace was different from the other strippers. Remember what made Candace different from the rest of them? She was in college.
Oh yeah, she was paying for college for
She was in college. She was in college, and the other girls didn't like it. They're like, well, we told you not to bring a schoolgirl here. And that's why I couldn't say he was a pimp, because he's like, hey, shut up. She got, she had a plan. She's only doing this to pay for college.
But that's that. But you know what, too? I think what's so jealous, the other females being jealous, is that was sort of like to say, she's not really in this for it, right? Now, mind you, I don't know why you would really be in the profession for it. Like me, I don't work for the government because I just love the government. I never worked for an employer that I just love an employer. That's not what it is. I have a goal and I'm stepping to it. And I felt like that's what that was. But here's the thing. To a degree, I can respect that. because at the end of the day, Julian liked that about her. He liked how she danced and that sexuality about her. He liked that. And he liked her outside of school and the dancing. He liked every part of her. So my thing is, when he gets down the line and when he has the university thing and they're looking for donations and he's asked, well,
Well, you gotta let people know we're talking about movie number 2. This is the sequel.
Yeah. So basically, he's looking for donations, and he has a donor. But then they look into him and his wife's past, and they find out that she used to be a stripper. And they ask him, like, before we donate to you, what about your wife's stripper past? Like, what's up with that? So they sent him a video, and the video was her at a college party as a teenager, probably. And she took a guy in the back. Now, mind you, they shut the door. We didn't see anything. So he sees this. And his mind goes racing. Now, mind you, I get it. He's a man, so his mind is going to race. But at the end of the day, he knew she was a stripper because he met her as a stripper. So for him to be wondering, well, I wonder what she does with her male customers, I'm calling cap on that. Like, and a lot of men say that in the back of their mind, they be wondering about who their girl been with. But I'm sitting here like, if you knew she wasn't a virgin, you knew she was pretty as shit, she had eyes, what the fuck do you mean? You wondering what in the back of her mind, what has she done with people? I couldn't understand that.
Okay. I can help you out with that. Mind you, this is 1999.
Lord,
right? This is 1999. AOL was king. America Online.
Yes.
People was like, MySpace has not been invented yet.
Okay, cool.
It was BlackPlanet.com was king. BlackPlanet.com and Asian Avenue. And Lincoln Tech. Right? What we didn't do, right? Because understand, in that movie, the only person who actually had a cell phone, there's 2 people who had cell phones. It was Jordan, because she worked at a TV station. Yes. And it was Quentin, because Quentin was well off. His father was rich, owned a hotel business. So Quentin had the cell phone, right?
Yeah, money.
Nobody would have known in 1999 that people were recording, and they record on your cell phone and send it out. Mm-hmm. So we're looking into what, when that movie came out, like 2013, 2012. Mm-hmm. So the second one, Best Man Holiday. Mm-hmm. So when it came out, like they've been fighting for the love. Because I say one thing about Julian, he knew that she was a stripper, but the other thing that went up when he gave her that quote, and she was able to quote it back, and he knew, like, wait a minute, she's more than a stripper. Right. And it's kind of like, it was like a Black Pretty Woman moment, right? Like Pretty Woman, right? It was that moment, but there's what Pretty Woman didn't do is what they did. When reality comes back into your relationship, because in the third of the final chapter, I don't think it's final chapter, they have to do some more. Mm-hmm. It comes back when her professor is making moves on her because of her past. Yeah. Inside of their own home. And so this is something, Julian loves her no matter what, right? And everybody has that's the type of man that Julian is. However, when you see in the third one, Julian doesn't take it out on her. Julian started doing MMA fighting. So he takes it out on the world, because that's the type of person he is, because you accepted this, you guys have moved and you have changed, but the world keep on throwing it in your face. And we see this all the time, like with adults, entertainers. Yeah. I gotta give you a different name, adult entertainers who go off living private lives, but then their fans are still like, I don't want you to live a private life. I want you to come back to it. But that's why they start losing their jobs as a teacher, or they get a divorce or whatever, and they get this pull back to come back into adult entertainment. So like that to me was like more realistic for that relationship. I wouldn't be upset and mad, because it was something like, it's been going on for so long, like nobody knew. Then all of a sudden, when we actually need the money, this thing happens. And one thing about Julian didn't go to Lance for the money. Like he knew, like he had to go to other resources and stuff. And his wife is an educator now, right? Because she she actually went. Now listen, people. I got a little sidebar for the people that's doing this type of work. You got to have an end game. You up here dancing on tables and not having a fan page for extra income. That's nothing y'all messing up. So not getting a Julian, because let's be honest, like a Julian is what you actually need. Because like the fact of the matter is that person loves you, not unconditionally. I want to say not unconditional love, but they accept you for who you are and see something bigger about yourself.
Yeah.
Look, you got to have an exit plan because you can't do it forever. I say one thing about Candace, she didn't do it forever. She went on, became a wife, got married, had 2 daughters, kept her husband, worked at a private school for the community. And that's something what's her name, Shelby, couldn't do for Julian. Shelby want to put Julian on a track to work for corporate America, like every 1990s and 2000s black novelist was trying to do for black men. And I want you to work for Coca-Cola, but only as in leadership. Like, there's no man's dream ever to work for another company for the rest of his life.
Right.
Even for the white man. Like, no man ever dreamed about working for another man and seeing his dreams elevate while his dreams diminish.
Yeah.
And she, and Julian was pimping. And that's because
I'm not sure
of Quentin. Oh my God, that was my computer. The iPhone was like, I'm not too sure about pimping. So man, iPhone be listening to conversations. I don't be listening. But
this is madness going.
But have you seen how he broke up with Shelby? It's a different Julian from the beginning of the movie to the end.
Yeah.
And that's because of Quentin. Quentin, little impish, panish, evil butt, some Shakespeare. We gotta find out, it's Marquicio's one of those characters that he reminds me of. Like, he planned the whole thing.
Yeah. But then, but to be honest with you, if he could plan that out with this lady right here on the screen, to kind of meet that in the middle, it's because he knew that Julian was out of his league when it came to Shelby, like all the way out of his league. And honestly, it happens like that a lot. You get with someone that maybe gets you clout because of who they are or how they look, but in reality, it's not your type. And we all fall into that. I fell into that with several men I was with. I wasn't their type, but because I was what they could bring home and what they could show off around their friends and not feel embarrassed about, it's like, yes, it worked for that, but then on a personality level, they were more into more toxic type of females, and so it wouldn't work. So I feel like that probably was the case with Julian and Shelby, because again, all I saw was their toxicities meeting in the middle. I did not.
No, you missed something out there. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Well, we miss out in the black community. The only male, the only male out of this movie that was not community property was Julian. And guess who popped his cherry? Shelby. Remember? Because I was his like, when he found out everybody was doing all this stuff in college, he was like innocent. Like he was like he was like the kid in the gang. He was. Yes, because Shelby was his universe. Like Shelby was his first, and that was it. And he's like, I'm marrying my college sweetheart. So he was not. Like he was not. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't like Lance or Quentin or what's his name, or Hopper. He wasn't like them.
But you know what? Because he wasn't like that, it seems like it worked against him in a sense, because he was too far on the right and they were too far on the left, like really too far. Like it was
No, you're right.
There's really nobody in the middle. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, okay, so because of that, right? The next woman that he meets is a stripper. and he falls in love. Like that's so.
It wasn't a stripper. She's a dancer.
Okay,
she ain't take off no clothes. She was a dancer.
Well, her clothes are already off. What do you mean?
That's a uniform. Okay, look, I'm gonna help you out with this one. You ready for it?
What is that?
He wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one because the next person, the female equivalency to him, was Jordan.
Jordan. Okay.
Mind you, everybody is going everywhere, right? But these two, male and females, who was holding out for love, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these are like the two that, like, you know, I don't know, like if we ever did like a God and Goddess series, these would have been the twins because because like they're like those two energies that's like waiting. They believe in like love is forever. Mm-hmm. I met you in this environment and it's going to last forever. Yeah. Which I have to call this is like this movie is the Black Disney. Yeah. Like these Black Disney movie or Black Hallmark, because it's a more like we could adapt to it. It's not one of those things where it's like absolute, right? Because everybody's jumping everywhere else, and then they found out who's the one after that. But then you find the two people that actually is like the Hallmark movie prototypes are the ones that like they didn't get what they thought they deserved, but they accept what they got.
And by Jordan, you talking about Nia Long. Now,
yes.
Now, yeah, I can see why you juxtaposition Nia to Julian, because they seem like they're on opposite ends of success and their personality types. Meanwhile, they're dealing with the same problem.
Yeah, because Julian is the one like I'm working in you know, nonprofit. Yeah. My woman runs me. Jordan is like, I run this show. I'm
the boss bee, all that.
I plan my whole life.
I want to get to the other ones too. So what I want to do is show the clip. Now I couldn't find the clip of the real scene that I saw that I thought was interesting, which was when he found out, when somebody else found out that his wife was a stripper, and they were in the bed, and they were, you know, this is at the second movie, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
But when they were in the bed and she was trying to have adult relations with him, right? And he was just squeamish, and then he just blurted out, did you do this with your male customers? Right. And after he said that to her, now mind you, at the time he said that, they was married, and I swear to God, I thought they had 2 kids. Was that right?
Yeah, they have 2 daughters. Yes, they have 2 daughters.
Now let me show you the reaction, the Black woman's reaction in this Disney movie.
Black Disney. We're gonna call it Black Disney.
Let me show you what that's looking like. Hold on. Yeah, let me show you what that's looking like. All right, wait. Okay, so let me stop presenting this. I'm gonna present screen. All right. Okay. So it's playing. I'm gonna skip the ad. Okay.
Keisha, girl! Wait, what? Everyone already knows I'm a ghetto sucking strip. Yes, we do. Tell me. Really? Keisha, Kelly, go get your stuff. Hurry up, go. And you best not say another word.
Upstairs.
No, I'm not staying here. Can somebody please tell me why he chose his $5 over me?
Shut up, Shelby. Just
Julian, you were a finalist on Flavor of Love All-Stars. You tongue-kissed nasty Flavor Flav on national television. I didn't swallow the tips, you dirty. Yes, you did, you lonely, miserable. It's called Calamo.
oh my God.
Put my hands up.
Oh my God.
Please. Are you happy now? Come on, girl.
Okay.
And I like that because it shows again, like, although everybody's friends, like everybody have their to-go friends to go to, and you saw that Robin and Candy are together because they got married into the friends group through a relationship. So they have more, they're more relatable. But then the other girls, because they all went to college together, they're a little bit closer. Not saying like nobody's here close, but like it is a division between the two girlfriends group because they're there for the men that they love, but they understand like their alliances together is
as a friendship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did notice that, but I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I can be a little upset about that because of the sheer seriousness of the circumstance. But with Shelby, I felt that this was him slipping into that beta male moment that he get like for instance when he's telling her please, just please, just please, and it's like, why do you care about her being calm when you blurted out to her during a sexual moment that basically she was a 304 and reminding her of a past that's over 10 years ago. Her children at least 10 years old. And like you're saying that and
then the friends group was thinking like this because all the friends welcome Candace except for Shelby. Shelby has the right to be angry because Shelby would have been married instead of kissing Flavor Flav. So that's
she does have a right to be angry
because she was gonna get married.
No, she don't. She don't got a right to be married because of the way she treated him.
Yes.
It's like you don't got a right to be mad that he's not with you because you really didn't want him in at all. Period. So, but
her thing is like she would have been married, but that's her. But understand that's who Shelby. Because again, Shelby is the type of woman when you look at it, right? Mm-hmm. Shelby is the one that because she's beautiful, she should be married. There are women like this. Now because you're in the East Coast, I'm from the South. I know I live in California, and California is a different place. Mm-hmm. But if I'm being honest, because I came from two places, which is great, I can actually look at that and say like, well, yeah, in the South, the pretty ones always believe that they want to get married immediately after college. Like we do model after white people more on the South and East Coast. So it's a lot more common for people to graduate, right, from college and then get into marriage. That's more common over there, not in California. But just in case anybody trying to come to California, don't do it. So sidebar, somebody's like, oh, when you see two old people and you think their marriage is forever, I'm like, look, I live in California. They got married 6 months ago. So when you see them all lovey-dovey, it's not because of 60 years of marriage. It's just been 60 days of dating. So but like Shelby, Shelby was going to get married. This man was going to work for a firm. I think he was a lawyer or something. And she was going to live the life that she thought she deserved because of her beauty and who she is, right? I think she was a pageant girl and whatever. And then this happens. And next thing you know, she had to take an alternative routes. And she's a celebrity, dating Flavor Flav, fighting for women, and start doing all this stuff that was, now just mind you, right? This is 2000s. And that's when more reality shows start going off. So her fame is because reality show, her dating basketball players and football players. That was not her goal. She thought that she would have been married by now, but she's not. And that's, to see this stripper, with the husband that she was going to get married to.
Right. And that's a good point. When we talk about do good girls finish last? The question would be, well, is this really a good girl? Because
which one, Candace or Shelby?
Shelby, because again, like we say, well, the pretty girls should be married and married early, but in reality, the pretty girls usually be the mean girls. Now, that the fact that a stripper is married before her, I think that it's just telling that your personality when it comes to inside of a relationship has to match the sheer level of the type of relationship that you're trying to have. I mean, too often we see billionaires, millionaires getting divorces. And it's not because it's a lack of money or a lack of effort to move, the family forward. No, it's because at the end of the day, these millionaires and billionaires, they are people with feelings, and they have the same issues and toxicity as everybody else, and they need that too. But see, in this case, right, what the way Shelby came off was just telling of who she is, just in general, right?
Yeah.
However, what happened with Candace was something that I felt bad about personally, because I said, okay, this is your wife, right? And she didn't do that because she wanted to do it. That wasn't who she really was. You forgave that because you actually liked that about her. But now that somebody else saw that she was a stripper, now you're embarrassed and you want to sit and come off to her and tell her, oh, well, is this what you was doing with your other customers? Now, if she was any type of woman that I know around here in Maryland, she would have responded, no, we actually did other stuff. We ain't do this type of stuff with my customers. Like, no.
You just trying to send them to the hospital with high blood pressure.
I'm trying to send her over, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. Now that's what I would have done. But see, she just got upset and she walked out. And she's like, basically, listen, I don't need this. Now, like I said, with Julian, he doing the beta male thing. It's like, now you want.
But that's who he is.
But this is what I'm saying.
But that's who he is.
Male, he can't be a beta male and be marrying a stripper or a dancer.
No, you can't. But that's who they. See, I want people to understand. Beta males are not losers, right? Mm-hmm. Beta males are who they are. I think, and if we look at I remember somebody talked about this. I give him a shout out, Angry Man Podcast, which was interesting. He pointed this out. When we look at, or what they call simps, right? Mm-hmm. I think they come from the era of the boomer generation, right? Mm-hmm. Where they get used by women
and they
lose everything, and then they start over again, right? And these are the same men that will have a wife and 5 other side chicks and take care of them all. Horrible at taking care of their children, which is true. Because I think my father falls into that. Sorry, Dad. And my stepfather. Sorry about that, you guys. But great with women and their children. Not good with their own. That put me in therapy. I'm still there. So
don't say therapy.
I'm just being honest. That's why, with my own kid, I'm just I give them the whole thing because of what I experienced. And that's where I'm at. I give them my all attention, right? Because what I experienced growing up. But I think he is that guy who you can't stop him, like you said before, somebody's core character. Mm-hmm. He is that type of person. But you see it again in number 3, where he needed to have that release, and that release turns out to be him being in Fight Club, because he holds so much stuff inside. He is so scared to get it outside that he has to do something else that's to the extreme, which is fighting. And it's wow, as a black man, no excuse, but black man anger, you have to keep it in check, and you can't have any feelings or any emotionals or whatever. But I think does build up a lot. And I think for him, a lot of things built up where he always cut things off, but he really don't deal with stuff. Right. Not saying what he did was right.
Right. So you think that him even saying something to her is basically a show of all those years of him not dealing with how he really felt about her past before him.
I think her past, because her past is now affecting his future.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on now. That was going on then, because her past is affecting his future now. Mm-hmm. And again, this is back in the day where people did not have the wherewithal thinking that the stuff I'm doing now is going to show up on people's phones 20 years from now. Mm-hmm. Also known as Freaknik. We'll talk about that later when the documentary come out. Please come back to the show. But stuff like that. Like no one thought about that stuff, right? Who would have thought? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like little stuff that we used to do, like the camcorders. You would never think that stuff would ever make it. Like not even like people not even selling DVDs. It's going straight up online on the computer for free. And you would never think in a million years this stuff was going on. It's going to be a possibility. Who would have known, right? So for her, she did graduate from college. She did quit. Like she did what she had to do. And I think like to be fair, like I want to see more of the Candy story because it'd be good to see because for her even to be a dancer or adult entertainer, but she had a purpose of doing it because she could have, how's that any different from somebody like working to what do you call those things? What kind of jobs are those? 2 jobs like working at fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
Like somebody selling drugs. We show more honor for drugs and less honor for people who doing dancing. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like these are 2.
That's the truth. I can't explain it, but that is the truth. We do, yeah.
You're right. So for her, like we don't know her story. Like, was she in foster care? Was she with the grandmother? Like, was this the only job that she could do? And also at that time period, people don't understand like college was really like, what's the word I'm looking for? Was very non-realistic. It wasn't like community college, which I love 10 times better. Like college is the only place to sit down and have a class at 1 p.m. And it'd be because the teacher's on tenor. That means the teacher only got 1 class that whole semester. And he decided to throw a class in at 1 p.m. And it's like, this is your only job. And you're getting paid a full-time job. Like you could have this class at 7 p.m. That's for juniors and seniors that need to have a job. Like, what are you doing, sir, having a class at 1 p.m.? Like, this is some BS. And that was the whole thing of college, right? So you really can't work. I think a lot of time that time period, a lot of us, we're not talking about how a lot of us, Gen X, were stripping.
Right.
We were doing sex work too. It wasn't.
But see, the issue is when you consider all of those factors and say how were people surviving in terms of college education, because there were some guys that were selling drugs, there were some girls that were doing that, and it's like this was how people got through. So now that we're in this new age, it's like, well, why is it that there's no forgiveness for those things, right? Because we understand what the reason is underneath of it, right? And like with him, at least in the moment, he forgave his wife for being a stripper, and he married her, for goodness sake. But then when it's like you said, it started affecting his reputation. People started knowing. Now it's like that backtracking, and he already has internal issues with being honest about things. So it's like, well, if we're really being honest, and I'm talking about me and you, if we're really being honest and we're really saying, okay, as a man, right, if you choose a woman that you like, that's meant for you, that is your type, and she just so happens to have a past, right? You have to realize that might be your lesson in life. Meaning, God might have said, listen, I'm going to give you everything you want in a woman, but that 20% is going to be she used to strip. Now you can deal with that, or you can deal with other women, but it's going to be 60-40, meaning the 60 going to be what you don't like and the 40 going to be what you do like. That's what that's going to be, because you ain't never going to get a 50-50. 50-50 is just like the 7. There's no such thing as a number 7 on the scale. It's 50-50. There's no such thing as 50-50. You going to get 60-40, or you going to get that. And that was the highest that he could get. She looked like something he liked. She was something he liked. They had similar interests, all of that. But she had
intellectually matching, and she was intellectually matching. Everything. That wasn't Shelby. Shelby was not intellectual.
That's what I'm saying. And my thing is, was he willing to throw it all away because of that insecurity within him? And I'm not even going to say insecurity, because at the end of the day, listen, she didn't have to tell you she was a stripper. You met her as a stripper at a strip party. So I don't even want to use that as an excuse. But to not be right, the point though is this: there's a lot of guys, right, that will sit and write her off and say she's for the streets because she decided to strip. But if she was selling cocaine, not so much.
Okay, here's something. You're not gonna like me for this, and I don't think none of the women will. men accept more women for who they are than women accept men for who they are.
You think so?
I know so. Yeah. Because men, like, look, men will fall in love with women and don't care as long as she able to keep that same momentum. If you say you love me, you want me, cut these other people off and you go forward, right? We already seen so many people did get married to. I mean, look at this stuff now. Not now, but I'm going for like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, right? A lot of football players and basketball players were getting married to not IG models, right?
Real
Back in
guy.
the day, these was these were like no. Remember they were video models, music video models.
Yeah, vixens.
Vixens, right? So a lot of people were getting married to vixens, right? Vixens were not the IGs. They weren't going to Dubai and doing all that crazy stuff.
Right.
They were in everybody's music videos, and they went ahead. These women went ahead and they got married to these men. I think what happens now is like the table have turned where the women think they're too good for just anybody and everybody. So that's where it's different now. Like you don't want to be covered, you don't want to get married, you don't want to have the picket white fence, even though you came from the gutter. You just want, you came from the gutter, like you want to you want to keep on dancing for the rest of your life, knowing that each year there's new women coming in here and ready to take your place. I think that's what the video vixen era was so different, because a lot of them went ahead and they did get married, and they went ahead and they used those marriages to propel them in another different life that was better for them, and people were more accepting to that. And that's what I'm saying, like, it's different. I don't think for men it's the same thing, because for men to be like, go ahead.
What's the issue? Okay, so what's the issue with the body count then?
I think the body count, see, we talking about that generation, everybody was getting some. So, this generation, they ain't getting nothing.
Are you of the opinion that men back in the day were more stable minded, in that despite whoever's body count is, whatever, their issue was, is she, for me? Versus
no, I think
I want my cake and eat it too.
No, I think what happened is the informational age came out, and the pride of women that have been unleashed on us has changed the whole game.
You mean in terms of people knowing?
As terms of women saying, like, I got 5 more guys, they cream pie, and I have them eating. I have my husband at home eating me out. Like that whole thing come out, right? So because of that, we can't go backwards no more, right? Because before, we didn't know all this stuff existed.
Right.
We didn't know about these trips to Jamaica and what's really happening in Jamaica, or these trips to Brazil, what's really happening in Brazil. We didn't know none of that stuff, right? We're like, oh yeah, she's doing girls trip and she come back home and that's it. But because stuff is just being outed like left and right, it's different, right? Because the climate then was a little different. It's like you want to work together, build together. And then sometimes people back in the day, they couldn't go home because there was no home to go to.
That's true.
Your girl was your home. Your man was your home. I think now it's kind of like we live in garbage. That's what we
live in garbage. And I feel like this whole, and I'm doing a live stream on the Game of Dragons channel about how social media and just the online access has just totally, that in and of itself has changed the face of dating. And I think that is at the core of this whole manosphere, womensphere issue, right? But it's like when we look at this is a prime example of relationships gone rogue. It's like we tell someone, hey, I love you because, and I want to be with you because you're into me. But then when I figure out through social media or through a video or whatever that you had something to do with someone else that may be similar to what you do to me, now my pride is involved. It's like, yeah, it's coming down to, was it out of sight, out of mind sort of circumstance in the past? Or was it always an issue of body count and we just now are open to understanding because everything's out in the open where we all can see it?
But look, I will say this. Lucretio. That's what he reminds me of, Quentin. I think that's the character. I might be wrong because I was trying to figure out the name of one of those Shakespearean characters. He
Oh.
knew about Candy already because, mind you, this is a lifestyle of Quentin.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, I can believe that.
Quentin know these women and he know the management.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin knew, and I think that's the whole thing. Like, Quentin is the one that set it up. Quentin is the one that got in his ear to saying like, "Hey, how this woman is ruling you is not cool. I'm not giving you my cell phone. You gotta have a little air of mystery. You gotta be a man. That's how she's ruling you and all this other stuff, right?" Quentin was kept on feet and like that weekend was so perfect for him. Like
it was perfect. But see, I think with Quentin, I think he was playing that counterbalance on purpose. But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was wrong in his intention. I'm gonna be honest with you. He shouldn't have done that. But this is
Quentin. This is Quentin's magic. This is how Quentin's magic work. It couldn't be no other way for Quentin. And here's something because it's just only a movie, right? Understand Quentin and Lance, or not Lance, Quentin and Julian before this movie were tight. So we don't know how many times Quentin have said this to Julian, probably like before they got engaged to Shelby.
We knew he couldn't keep a secret. That's the situation with Shelby. He was like pouring everything out.
Yes, right. But mind you, Quentin part, right, is like him and Julian are like this, right? So he's gonna be the best man at that wedding, right? Yeah. But mind you, they're every weekend, they're hanging out every day, right? Mm-hmm. So like we don't know how many times because the movie's not about Quentin. Right. But you get an idea, like Quentin was saying this in his ear so many times. And a lot of time our friendships, we don't like the credit of like when people keep on saying stuff over and over and over again, it becomes like the back voice in your ear, like da da da. Now, mind you, Quentin never said anything about Candy. Like it was approved by him.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what they did in college. Like Quentin have a manifesto for Julian, and he just knew.
I wanted to see. Yeah, I wanted to see more of a backstory too. But it's like you said, it wasn't about that, and that would have helped. That really would have helped. But in terms of college, though, right? Now, like you said, all of them had high body counts, except I'm not even gonna say except. I'm gonna say who was it? Mia
Jordan.
No, Mia.
Oh, that's not so. Oh, come on, Mia.
Yeah, Mia. Now let's get to that because I gotta make sure I get them in this little time period here. Now, let me show the picture. So we know everybody know who we talking about when we say Mia. Because I don't want people to be like, what? Who is this?
Hold on, my screen froze. Hold on, let me refresh. Hold on.
It's
okay. I'm back. All right.
Okay. All right, let me share it. Let me see. Yep. Okay, this is it. Okay, so this is Mia here. This is Mia, and of course Lance is the football player here, and Tay Diggs is, what was his name again in this?
Harper.
Okay. See, I be just knowing their faces. So, okay. So this is who we talking about. Now, the thing about Mia, and like it goes back to what you said originally, right? Lance don't mind Harper having relations with the women he introduced him to or the women he don't want that he already had. Now, at this point, Mia is being introduced to Lance by Harper. So now it's interesting that Lance didn't feel that, he's taking sloppy seconds, right? Because he can kind of tell based on her demeanor that she isn't a runaround type of girl. She's not, out there like that. So, Lance essentially plays into this whole three-way situation, right? So later on, now let me be clear. Mia and Harper had a professional relationship. They were just friends. However, okay, when Mia gets with Lance, Lance cheats on Mia. Now, the movie didn't go into that, but they made it clear that's what happened. They made it clear
They
that
didn't go clear. Are we sure?
yes, because now they made it clear that that's what happened, and as a result of her forgiving him, okay, what happens is he learns that she had sexual relations with Harper secretly. She didn't even tell him, "Hey, I cheated back on you, nana boo boo." She didn't do that. She just did what most women do. Oh, you want to cheat on me? Oh, all right, I'm gonna have my fun too. Now, mind you, right, and this is how I feel about relationships. What you do in a relationship is what you give license for the other person to do. So you can't sit and be upset that somebody is with someone else if you did the same thing. Like you really can't be upset about that. However, Lance was upset about that, and he was more so upset about it because he said this was my friend that you had sex with. Now, sure, okay, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of felt that that whole piece about him being a friend is like I couldn't really believe that only because Lance had already done he was already a bisexual first of all, and he already had cheated on this girl.
But
He
not
already
only
had his penis.
he was a different bicycle and different community penis. He had a nickname, and it was Mandingo.
You know what? We not gonna. I swear to God.
No, because keep in mind, right? And it was talked about. Cause that's why he was hiding the book, and it was very important. Well, what you say is important, and it showed like in the book that Harper wrote was that she constantly heard about his escapades. Harper, who brought them together, stayed out of it.
Yeah, he did.
And he knew what each one was going through, just like how Quentin was. But Quentin's a little bit better than Harper.
But you know what? Let me
but
show you. Let me
okay,
show you Quentin because Quentin was at the center of this too. Hold on. Let me.
Hi, Cecily. I just switched my whole fan.
Hold on. Let me unshare this. I just want to show you Quentin because Quentin was he was the Cheshire Cat one more again, and this was he really was. And I said to a degree
the poker game. It
I
had
was
to be
glad.
the poker game.
Yeah, I was kind of glad. So hold on, let me play it. All right.
And it's only $35 a line.
Not that you're bragging.
With Verizon Unlimited for $35 a line, your family now gets
Oh my God, I hate these people.
all three included. Verizon.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this.
Marriage is sacred. My folks been together 35 years. I hear that. Besides, marriage is gonna curb that appetite for more women. In case y'all didn't know, marriage is a cure to promiscuity. In what world? I said that, man.
God damn. You would have never known that you graduated summa cum laude to say some dumb ass shit.
Man, there's a time for everything, players. We're in the real world now, man. The real world, real things.
Hey. I don't give a damn what y'all say. Ain't nothing natural about no monogamy. I mean, God did not intend for us to be with just one person. If he had, he wouldn't have given us all this sperm.
Oh!
These bitches would not outnumber us the way that they do.
Okay. Okay, so wait, were you a philosophy major now, man? Or what?
He is a bullshit artist.
Thank you. I heard that. Thank you.
What a new fuck, you know, man. Y'all know as well as I do, ain't nothing better than some pussy except some new pussy.
Hey, you got a point there, though.
No, and plus you can't trust these bitches anyway, man. They just as scammers as us niggas, man.
Oh, not all women, player. Not all women.
Oh.
Okay. Now let me say this. This is where I'm telling you now, this dude getting hot because he know the truth. And he's saying what he's saying because he knows the truth. But you see his face, like every time something happens, he like,
Cheshire cat. Cheshire cat.
You don't think that me has ever got with any other dudes?
I'm the first, the last, and the only.
Okay, so you see, he feel confident, even though he cheated on Mia, and that's in the movie too. He confident in his relationship because he says she was a virgin and I was the first. Now, as much as we hear about guys talking about she got to be a virgin, as if virgins don't have a sexual appetite, like or whatever. Like this is the strangest thing about humanity right now. But I think this is a fair question that Quentin proposes. Do you think that she's only been with you? He could have said, well, I don't have a reason to doubt that she's been with more than me. But to say I'm the first and I'm the only and I'm the best, like to put himself up on a pedestal, it's like he bought. Okay, hold on. Let me finish this. Hold up.
Really?
Really?
Look at his face. Look at this face. Look at this.
You know.
Because the pussy curves to my dick, nigga. That's how I know.
Now, see, this needs to die. We need to have a funeral for that statement right there, because
he's exercising Borvito. He gotta. It's natural guy thing. It's.
But is that
it's
true?
A pissing contest. It's a pissing contest right now.
Here's the thing: pissing with who?
Okay, a light-skinned man is calling you out.
Oh my God! Okay.
A light-skinned community tool is calling you out. Like,
I give you that one. All right, let me finish.
Yeah.
Size of number doing angel match.
So you mean tell me with all the sticking and moving that you've done, you don't think that me has ever tippy-toed out the door on you once?
But you see what he said? He said all the sticking that you've done. You think she ain't done it back?
You know, mind you, they both did all the sticking. Him and, I mean, those two counterparts, right? You got the light-skinned version and the dark-skinned version.
Yeah.
Right. So he's thinking.
The only difference is he not him, but Q. He's open with his. He's not.
Well, Lance thinking like, is it Q? Is Q now bragging about it?
Right.
Because he know that Q.
Right. Q is a I can see that. Yeah. I see it on his face.
Right.
He done planted the seed.
What if she did? Wow,
See?
Don't you think she'd be well within her rights? It's karma, baby.
Okay, and once again, he has a point. He asked the question, and now people are blaming him.
Now understand, because Q is the one that has nothing to lose.
Right.
Q, and everybody knows that Q. A lot of girls gave it up for Q, right? Mm-hmm. Because Lance had to be a football player. Yeah, he's dark skinned, blah blah blah. A lot of times, you talking about like HBSU. You know, light-skinned boys got more play. They're in competition for all the women on campus, right?
Right.
So now we're talking about his own girlfriend and fiance and soon-to-be wife.
Right.
That probably slept with his best friend because they didn't have boundaries.
Back then, I can see that they definitely didn't have it back then.
They don't have boundaries now. I won't say that right now.
Oh, let me see this Cheshire cat.
Look at that smile. And look how relaxed he is.
Listen. Oh my God, I just had to pause on his face, man. The relaxation. Hold on. this right here. Here's the thing. He knows the truth. And he knows what's in the back of his head because he's a bicycle too. That's why. This is why. Right here.
And he's so relaxed. That is such a sociopathic thing he did. And look at him. He's like,
he wasn't even phased.
No, he's like
happier than ever.
He's like, I'm gonna crush you later. Like he's already.
But you know what? He might feel like he want to crush him because there might be a slight jealousy there. Because Lance seemed to be the successful one on all fronts. Seemed to be okay, and he's the, I don't want to say hobo, but he's just the unsuccessful one, honestly.
No, everybody know he just everybody, they call him out, was like Lance is the one that don't take stuff serious. Lance doesn't want to be like his father. Lance doesn't want to own a business. Lance doesn't want to run a business. Lance just wants to sleep around. Like he's still in college. He already graduated.
Right. Got it. Yeah. See that? Yeah. I see it in his eyes. He is sociopathical with it, but at the same time, I feel like his eyes is green with jealousy. And the green background. I think that was a telling. I think that was foreshadowing. I think that's what they say. Foreshadowing.
But I hate to say this. He is so, and I don't want to say stereotypical because this is the depiction of a light-skinned man that in the 90s and 2000s, like that's it. Like, and to this day, we looking at them, it's like, that's actually what people think of light-skinned men. It's probably his face will come up. It'll be him. And the actions that he do.
I have to make a meme about this. I really do.
Mr. Slept with your girl, Mr. Steal your girl. Woo!
How that table get back like that?
Him.
Oh.
Whose hand is it?
And look. He's like, Hopper, this is going to happen to you.
He knows. He knows. Because he knows. He knows. That's it. Like this photograph right here, though. But that
he needed that. Shelby wasn't doing it. Shelby was causing him stress. He needed some release. Ladies, stop being a Shelby. Be a Candy.
That was it. And here's the thing. I do want to play. Okay, I'm gonna play it right. But I want to show you how toxic Lance and Mia's relationship got, because even though he had called the wedding off and he wanted to just basically be done with it, and I'm be honest with you, that was unfair given what he did. But later on,
wait, what do you mean was unfair?
Him knowing he's upset that she slept around on him, right? But yet he's not upset at what he did to her. Like, he's not upset about that. He's just upset at what happened to him. And my thing is, just like with Julian, it's like, are you embarrassed or are you really upset about this? Because you did that and you felt okay with doing it to her. So why is it an issue now? Plus, when both of this happened, both of them were single.
Okay, this is why it's a problem. You ready for it? Harper's the one that set them up. The relationship between Harper and, what was her name? Mia. Well, they were more like brother and sister. Because mind you, Mia knew that her best friend Jordan liked Harper. Mm-hmm. Right? That was her best friend Jordan, right? Now, mind you, they never been like intimate or anything like that. And so they always work together. But I think the pressure of, like, women are just mean, especially in colleges. They're like, you think you got a man? I just slept with him, girl. Look, I got his underwear. I got his socks. Co-ed showers made it 10 times worse. Yeah. That, I don't know who came up with that idea, but co-ed showers in college.
Yeah, that was.
They asking for screen number 8, 9, and 10. That right there. I'm surprised that hasn't been on next $20 yet. But Right? That's a hot mess with these core showers in universities. That should never have happened.
That should have never happened. Honestly, maybe it was an experiment, but I'm gonna be honest with you. When I got to college, it was over with. But to be clear with you, okay. So what you're saying is he's upset on principle, right?
It is a principle too. Like it was because he was such a star, right?
Mm-hmm.
He assumed, now mind you, because Harper Rowe was like this is his best friend, so he's not in competition with Harper.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Harper is so used to getting his leftovers.
Yeah.
Right? He always shares with Harper, right? That's their relationship. But then when you see the friendship between Quentin, and I know we keep on going back to Quentin and because it's good to keep in mind these male relationships, they're different.
Right.
With Quentin and Julian, you see Quentin is the more protective of Julian.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works because Quentin protects Julian. And you see how innocent Julian is, and we all know how non-innocent Quentin is. Quentin's not innocent. But Quentin Quentin's not innocent, right?
Right.
But the relationship between Harper and Lance, because mind you, Lance is a football player, is competition all around, right? This is the one friend that he has that he didn't have to be competitive with.
Oh,
and
okay.
that's what broke him.
I see what you're saying. I definitely
Right?
see. Yeah.
Because with everybody else, he knows with Quentin, they're gonna be because they sleeping around campus.
That's
Right?
true.
Or even outside of campus, right? I'm sure they probably went clubbing before he met Mia. They're like, how many numbers you can get? How many numbers I can get, right? So, like they had some kind of rivalry or whatever, right, going on. Right? So that's normal. Everybody pretty much protects, Julian, because he's like the baby brother of the group. Right? He's a baby. He's the baby brother. Shelby bust him down, and that's he belongs to Shelby ever since. Right?
He bust him down.
Yeah, Shelby bust him down. Not he bust down Shelby. No, Shelby bust him down.
Okay, I give you that. I give you Shelby busted down. But
And then you got Harper, and Harper's under his shadow, under Lance's shadow, and Harper gets is like a symbiotic relationship. Like Lance get a peace of mind, Harper have access.
Yeah.
And then you see that it goes back even in the second movie, right? He needs in this movie, you see it because he needs Lance again for to help out Jordan to get the wedding ceremony and the videotaping, right? And then the second one, the holiday, he needs Lance again to get the book, right? And they have this symbiotic relationship that goes on, and it's like this is their relationship. It's like, and the number 3 is like they accept it because they realize like this is our friendship, this is our brotherhood, like this is we're soul tied. This is how it works for us, and we can't go beyond that because this is it. Now the boundaries came in like don't be sleeping with each other's stuff.
Right, but you know what? Here's the strange part. There was also boundaries when it came to Lance and Mia because even though we didn't see it throughout the time, they had never spoken about what happened. Like they never spoken about it. And all this stuff is going on, and yet they have never even spoken about it. And what that told me, right, about just relationships in general, is that people, and I'll sum it up, right? People don't want to be reminded about what doesn't suit their fancy, if you know what I mean. Out of sight, out of mind. However, in this case, because like you said, on principle, this is the guy that got us together. This is my friend. This is the person that, I kind of sort of depend on in certain ways, that now this is an issue. So what he does is he buries this conversation and doesn't talk about it, but he in himself, he's angry about it. He really was angry about that the entire time. And I do have the clip of that. I have the clip of that here, because it was interesting that he felt so animate about it, yet he didn't feel the need to talk about it with her. It was almost opposite of you, where
But she didn't know they had that fight. She didn't know they had that fight.
she didn't know. But my thing with him is, if you felt so animate about this to the point you was about to literally end the whole wedding, okay, that had been planned, you would think at some point you would tell her about how you feel about whatever happened, so y'all can clear the air and be happily married. But he didn't have no happy marriage with her. He just buried it, and then it just kind of came out. But here's the thing: she kind of knew the entire time, so I can't put it all on him. But
it's the book. It was the book. And also keep in mind, Harper had a signature, right? Harper kissed you on the forehead. He kisses you on the forehead, right? It's that forehead kiss that he does.
That forehead thing gets me all the time. It just does.
Opening the third eye.
He said opening the third eye. Lord, and I want to play it.
I gotta calm down. I let my guard down. I got sucker punched. Again.
You don't know the full story.
I know enough of the story.
Think you do, but we won't know until we speak with
No,
Harper.
Harper! Him!
Right. There it is.
What?
You're so filled with anger and it's all aimed at him, but we all played a part in it.
We have never had this before. We're not about to start right now.
Okay, so she was right. All of them played a part. He started it, she ended it, and Harper was the thread in between tying it together. Everybody had a part to play, which I agree with her. That's the adult position to take when it comes to just the relationship between all of them and how they're adults. So it's like, why they can't talk about that. But I get it. But hold on.
Tell me how angry you are at me.
Now this is where I'm gonna call Kat. She said she deserved, right, his anger. My thing is, she don't deserve his anger. If he married her knowing that, she don't deserve his anger. If right now they 10 years in the future, if he didn't want to talk about it for 10 years because he felt his marriage was more important, why are you angry now?
It's Harper.
I
because
get it,
you know why?
He don't have a right to be angry at this point.
But you know why? One, he does have a right because they didn't talk about it. They didn't clear it out. That's one.
Not at all. Not one.
They didn't talk about it, right? She knows, right? But she also knows that she's leaving, and she understands that their relationship. She knows more about their friendship and then they need for each other better than he does. So that's why she's doing what she's doing, is because she knows she's leaving.
Right. She knows she's down.
But they do need each other. Him, what he's doing, and I've done this before, when you're like, I don't know what to call it, soul tie, because everybody use soul tie like it's a negative thing. But you know, like your walk with a person is so they interlock, and you have to do it because it's like Jonah. No, it's like Noah have to like go to Nineveh and let them know what's going on, and like God sent somebody else, but like, no, you the one I'm calling on. It's like that, and you have certain friendships to be like, God be telling you like make a right turn, you're like, no, make a left. But then he told the other person make a left too, then you bump into each other still anyway. It's like, why? Why, right? And Harper did it again, right? Harper is using him for something, but it's needed for them to be is what they need. And it's a weird place in friendships because we think we could cut people off and we play God a lot. And we're gonna put boundaries and we're gonna not see each other, but then life do happen where you end up needing each other, and those relationship is needed for whatever challenge that you have now. And so that's what she's doing what she's doing to make sure that the husband is taken care of.
Right. And
that's why I see it.
I give her that. And I see what you're saying. I just was so pissed at him. I was like, why is you stressing that girl out? Like, really?
Yeah,
why?
because like he was Mandingo all through campus, overseas, everywhere in town. I'm surprised no videos of him came up. And speaking of which, if you go to the number 3 the final chapter, which I'm not gonna call it the final chapter. I'll call it season 3.
Okay.
If you go to season 3, they go on a guy's trip, and you know what this fool does? Which I give him credit because I probably do the same thing too. He get butt booty naked and jump in the pool, and got all the ladies aroused. And I'm like, that's my dude because I'll do the same thing too. I'm single. I'm gonna mingle. Let me just take off my clothes and swing and just. Like that's my motivation to hit the gym now. I'm just like I'm working out hard. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to do this summer. You know, probably go like to one of the Mocha Fest parties or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
but you know, like his true self came out, but like he wasn't doing too much because he got kids now, right?
Yeah,
but,
they all got kids now.
Yep. But you know, you see it like for him, like, oh, okay, this is still part of you, but how come you didn't take responsibility for it when you had a chance both times?
Yeah, I can see that.
Like he never really admitted because he put everything on God. But I'm like, dude, that's so narcissistic. Like, yeah, you gave it to God and you're forgiven. That's great. But are we gonna like? I think when season 4 comes in, it'd be nice to see some videotapes of him being out there because he's like a Hall of Famer, and then see some other kids that he probably had from college because they probably going to NFL too, won the Heisman. They found their brothers and they're his kids. I mean, like, you can't be doing all that, and especially from HBSU, you ain't got no kids outside of your marriage. So I'm all for the Black Disney. Like, make it happen.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Let me finish playing this out because I gotta get ready. Wrap it. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on.
I knew what I was doing. I knew I was wrong. And I knew it would hurt you. And I'm sorry for that. And I'm sorry that I chose him. It's my fault what it's done to you too, and I can't rest knowing that you're still holding on to this.
You chose him.
It's weighing you down. You need to let go. You need him. Yeah, you do. You need to forgive.
I will never forgive him.
I need you to. Lance, look at me.
Oh, okay. So I think
call
that's
it a karma.
We should go on.
Wait, can you stop right there?
Mm-hmm.
What she had to say was so true because when you look at the first movie, at their wedding, what happened to Harper? Harper went ahead and proposed to Robin.
Yeah.
In number 2 movie, right? When they buried his wife, Lance's wife, Robin goes into labor and Lance delivers the baby. And he's like, this is my baby now. I'm like, yeah, because you buried your wife and the life came out. Oh, that's your soul baby. That's your baby. I don't care nobody said. Lance got 5 kids. Lance. That thing was so spiritual and deep. Mind you, that was so spiritual and deep. It was like, yeah, that's Lance's baby. Lance got 5 kids. Lance got 5 kids. And then when you look at number 3, that was so dope. Now that Harper and Robin divorce, and Harper is left in the house alone, and then you see Lance coming in to be there for him, like his first night by himself, and then the other guys come through. She was right. Like they do need each other. And I think it resonates this with a lot of men because our relationship, we always talk about women friendship, like it is kind of crazy sometimes. But ours is just as crazy too. You know, ours is like it's crazy. But the forgiveness part of it is so real sometimes, like I don't need that person. And it's like you do need them. And it's like it's something like I think for all men, like we don't get to that point in our relationships with our friends, like we kind of like, oh, I got to get out of here and run away. But how the universe will work it, you'll find that same type of friend somewhere else. So you're still dealing with the same spirit.
And I mean, I you know what? I think you're completely right on that. I do because I've even had it happen to me in my life. Like just keep running into the same individual, just in a different body. And I think it's not just in relationships; it's in friendships too.
Yes.
But in my opinion, because you know, I just want to kind of bring it all to one is that what the lesson that you're supposed to learn in life is going to keep showing up for you. And it doesn't matter if you break up one person or not. That person, you're in a karmic cycle with this particular lesson. And until you learn it, that's when you can move forward. And I think at that time, when the baby was born, is when that lesson started to move forward. And but we're talking about almost 15 years later, according to the story. But this is what I think is happening, which is I don't want to say to blame, but this is the reason why many times we see people and they keep dating the same type of person. And we keep saying, you're stupid, you keep doing this. But people don't understand that when you're in a karmic cycle, it's not just choose a different type of person. You could choose an uppity chick or a chick in the hood or a different kind of woman and still be with the same type of woman you was with the time before. So it's about you learning that lesson in love so that you can move to the next step, because there's certain things you have to learn before you actually are prepared for genuine love. And I think every relationship, at least in this movie and in my life, has gotten you, every obstacle is bringing you closer to that. But sometimes some people get stuck in a cycle on one level. And
Can I say something about that? You see that with Harper and Jordan, and it's so imperative because Harper and Jordan, she was like they used to go to bed together, sleep together, but it was platonic. Like they didn't do nothing, right? She was ready to give it up, then something happens, and then number two movie comes out. Number two, Robin is pregnant, Harper's wife. Jordan is dating the white man, and mind you, nothing's going to happen there. And then we go on to number three, where there is still something between Harper and Robin, and life just keeps on happening where they don't meet. And mind you, then Robin thinks that she's going to be pregnant from the white guy, but it didn't work out, and she's not pregnant. And she realized this is something that she really wanted, right? But then when Harper is now officially about to divorce Robin, now mind you, Robin and what was it? What was Harper's wife? Hold on.
Harper's wife is Jordan.
Jordan. Oh, I'm sorry. Jordan and Robin. So Jordan and Robin, they already know like Harper is the prize for either one of them, right? Robin let it go, so her and Jordan is just done, right? They're I almost call it frenemies, but she understands like her time with Harper is done. But then you saw something with Jordan, where Jordan told Harper like, you know what? Enough is enough. You need to do what you need to do, and I need to do what I need to do, because no matter what's going on between the two of them, it never happened, never manifested. So she said when it happens, it will happen. But for right now, I'm not going to be that woman that's going to be your crutch, right?
I think
and that was like
that was really telling, because remember in the first movie they did the scene from when they was in college, and there was that foreshadowing there when they was kissing, and then the record started skipping.
Like, oh yes.
Yeah, and it was like real awkward, and they had to like stop and say, okay, maybe we should be doing this.
Okay, always. So, yeah, that right there was like,
yeah, that's a sign. That's a sign from the universe. But
and it was a CD, not a record player. It was a CD.
That's the problem. But you know what? I think it just goes to show that relationships are more than just you picking someone. It's cosmic intervention, it's karma, it's understanding of male and female dynamics and friend dynamics too, because it's not just male and female, it's friend dynamics too. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and I think sometimes we sum everything down to just make a decision and just make a good one. And I think shows like this kind of show you the intricacies of how deep relationships can go. And I think Lance's relationship with Mia, how they never even talked about it, like that just shows you how deep things can be when it comes to, just the experience of love, just period, how deep it can go. I can be so mad that I won't even say anything about it. Like that's just,
And also the friendship between men, like we're still friends, and when we say cool, it's like I need you to be over there.
Right, over there in the corner. Like don't
yes.
Right.
But we're cool.
We cool, but we cool as long as cool is cool. That's how it is. I have to run, but I love you. I can't we could go on for days talking about this. But what is your closing remarks about what you may have learned watching these and making your notes?
Oh man, what I learned from this, what I learned from me personally is like I have to learn to be more forgiving.
Okay. Me too.
I gotta be more forgiving, but not stupid. I don't want to be like Julian. But I don't want to be like Julian. Like, I was Julian. I want people to know I was Julian. I was the guy. Like my stepfather would tell you, I'd be like, "You don't understand our love." That was the type of guy I was. You don't understand my love. My parents would tell you like, "Oh my God," and I would like fall in love like every week. She loves me. I love her. We're gonna move in together. That was me. I was that type of guy. So I understand Julian 100%. But I understand like me not understanding the purpose of certain people that were in my life and not seeing like what not say what road, but what part they played in my life and honoring that without being hateful.
Okay.
Even though I've been hurt, but also at the same time honoring that and like I did need that. And what was my lesson from this interaction with this person? So that's what I've learned.
That's a good topic right there. What have you learned from each failed relationship? What did you learn? Because most people are gonna say, I learned that I'm better than no. And I think it's a good topic. And you know what? I might even bring that one back because it's I think I can we probably might could do something on that. But yeah, I think that's really key. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Let's do it sooner than later. We gotta do that sooner than later.
Yeah, we gotta have a list of all our exes and what we
No, but I think we like to make it more like we could do friendships, like what we learn, not just on the exes, right? Because I always seem like with the ex, I see them more like soul steps because they're leading me to someone else. So when someone keep on asking me like when you're gonna get married, I don't know because I'm still learning lessons. I'm still learning myself, which each woman I'm dating, and I'm learning from myself. What I thought I wanted is not what I want.
Right.
What I thought I needed is not what I need. Because I thought like what I needed was a woman that was like always going to be around. I found out something about myself. Ms. Oshun, you ready for it? I don't need nobody hovering over me. I don't like that stuff. That stuff is annoying. I didn't know that. But literally, like, oh, I wish. I really don't like that stuff. But I had to find that out when I dealt with someone who was that type of person. And she's that type of person. It was nothing wrong on her. Understand, like nothing wrong with her, but it showed for me that's not what I really needed, even or wanted, because that's what I thought I needed. But that wasn't what I need. And I keep those desires to myself. And that's how it just comes out like, okay, God, this is what I desire. And then here's a woman that presents herself, and they're like, okay, this is what I wanted. And then it's like, wait a minute, this isn't it. And I'm okay with it.
Right.
Because I'm learning more about myself.
And you know what? I'm the same way. And I have to slow down and think just like what you said. Like, is this what I really need? Is this what I really want? And yeah, each interaction is bringing me closer to that. Now, I wish I was closer than I am, but who knows? Who cares?
We ain't ready for that person. We are not ready for that person.
I'm gonna go in my Smurf house and wait. That's what I'm doing.
No, because we don't want to end up like Sex in the City, and it's like you're chasing a Mr. Big type, which I know people like. They like Mr. Big. I like Aiden, and here's why. I don't know if you've seen where they move forward to where they're at now with Sex in the City. I think they call it Just Like That.
Yeah.
And there was a scene, because you and I, we read books and we see the non-verbal stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Big dies, right? And Carrie goes to her old apartment, and that wasn't a tell, but Carrie goes to the not the storage unit, right? Mm-hmm. Everything that's Carrie is in the storage. Mm-hmm. The stuff that she had was Mr. Big in that house after they got married was all him. So there was nothing of her really in that house or that life they lived in. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, of course she didn't catch it. Like, she probably like, I won the prize, I got the guy. But I'm like, wait a minute, everything that was you, he actually won because he just shoved you away.
Yes, yeah, I see. Yeah, just put
you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you could have been better off with Aiden, because Aiden was everything that she needed and didn't have to fight for, and would have worked because she went to him twice. And almost a third time and almost a fourth time. So I'm like, and now it's almost a fifth time because he'll be coming back again. So I'm just saying that to say, oh yeah, because it's called Just Like That. Just Like That got there's a second series coming out. Mm-hmm. Season 2.
We have to review that. But yeah, Sex in the City, we have to review that.
And I always tell people why it's so important is like, this is when people went out, because now they're complaining like on the news, or people are dying of loneliness. Well, people are not going out.
Yeah, they don't go out.
You can't meet people doing this. You had to go out and meet people and go out in public and have a cool brunch spot and be introduced to new places and new neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the whole thing of dating, not about like, do they have a car and can they fly me out? Like,
that's not it. That's not it. Well, you know what? We gonna talk about that. We definitely gonna get into that. But you know what? I have to get on the road. But you know what? Let's put a pin in that one, because I like that. I like the Sex in the City thing. I think
that'll be number 4, because number 3 would be the one before that. Got to be like what we learned.
What we learned. Okay, got it. Okay.
There's a TV series. I think there's a TV series that does that a lot. I don't think it's Sex in the City, but Sex in the City is almost similar to that. But that Sex in the City is more like, I wish, this is one thing I say about Sex in the City, and we'll break it off. I wish we saw the other side, which would have been what the men were thinking.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Yeah. Well, wow. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to our movie nights. We will be coming back with some more things. Now this is impromptu, so do not look for a schedule, okay? And if you are definitely liking this, press like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you next time. Stan, take it.
I'll see you guys soon, and follow me on IG, the Pacific Coast Haitian Community page. And that's just to get a lot of people on the West Coast that are Haitian or Haitian descendants to find out like more activities and the connection. Check out the stories, because that's why I put the majority of stuff there is in the stories or in the story icons. You'll see that on that page.
Got it. Okay. Okay, Stan. Well, Stan, thank you for coming through with me. I appreciate you. And we're gonna end it on tonight. And we'll talk.
All right.
All right, Stan.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. All right. So that was our show tonight. I bid you farewell, and you guys have a good one. See you next time. Bye-bye.